Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to my another video on YouTube. Now this video is going to be regarding as you know, you can see the title, right? Aruba Airwave. This one. Now we will talk about first of all an overview of this product from the Aruba, and then we will do an installation of this Aruba on the VMware Workstation Pro. I'll show you how to do that and how to access the GUI. So this is going to be you can say or what do you say introduction to the Aruba Airwave, right? So Aruba Airwave is basically a powerful and comprehensive network management and monitoring solution, which is designed by obviously the Aruba Networks, which is a subsidiary to the HPE. And It provides a real-time visibility and you can say proactive monitoring and centralized control of the wired as well as the wireless network environments. So I would say Airwave basically, I mean, it is a powerful network operation system that not only manages wired as well, and it also manages the wireless infrastructure. Now, it can, I mean, mostly it will work with the third party manufacturers as well, but mostly we'll use that with the Aruba infrastructure. Now, but also provides the visibility, I mean granular visibility into devices and users and applications on the network. Airwave lets IT organizations proactively optimize network performance, strengthen the wireless security, and improve the end user experiences. Now imagine you can proactively get all those data, right? What about the rogue APs, about the performance history, everything, right? So through a centralized and intuitive user interface, um, Airwave provides basically a real time what do you say monitoring first of all, right? Monitoring and it generates proactive alerts as well. So this is one more thing, proactive alerts, and you can have the historical reporting. This is one more important thing, the reporting, historical reporting, and and troubleshooting, right? Efficient troubleshooting that results in an efficient troubleshooting. Basically, we can use that for troubleshoot. Right now you have a dedicated dashboard views like which are called I mean which quickly help you the potential RF coverage issues, unified communications and collaboration traffic, which basically have application performance and network services health, right? Now app RF, this is one more thing, the visual RF, right? Which this Airwave provides, which basically helps you to map the users, access points, I mean all those things on a floor plan, or you can just have an passive what do you say heat map site survey. Passive site survey is also there. You can generate that. Most of the companies do use the visual RF, right? Visual RF, which has the location and mapping, right? Which with network wide views of the entire RF environments. Like it can have the maps of Wi-Fi coverage and the underlying wired topology which can show a clear and accurate picture of who is on the network, their location, and how the network is performing. So that is a lot of information through a centralized platform. Additionally, overlays of client health and application performance can help to quickly diagnose issues specific to a client and a floor plan or specific location, right? You have the Airwave Rapids, which is called Airwave Rapids. Okay, this basically which is used for rogue detection, works with the RF Protect wireless intrusion protection software module to collect data and mitigate issues with rogue APs. So you can have rogue APs in your network, correct? Rogue APs, you can have rogue clients. Rogue clients, all these are taken care, right? And also like events of wireless intrusion, you can wireless intrusion. So these events are basically uh, monitored, like to collect. I mean, you can collect data from these events and then mitigate issues using those data across the wired and wireless networks. So the wireless data collected by Rapids is correlated with the wired network data to identify the most significant and relevant threats, while you can greatly reduce the false positives and strengthen the network security. Okay, so that is the I would say an introduction to the airwave. Now coming back to the, I mean, if you see here, right? Let me just try and zoom into this one. This is kind of airwave dashboard that you have. You have devices that are coming up. So you connected some, say, APs and maybe switches, okay, to your network. It will come here, and then you have the wired up switches. You have the wireless, I mean, up devices. You have the down ones as well. So you get this visibility, right? Once you add the devices, how many are up, how many are down. So this is kind of helpful. And then rogue, and how many clients, and the alerts as per your settings or profiles that you configure. Now you have one module also which is called the Aruba Clarity module. Okay, this is called Aruba Clarity module inside this. Uh, Now this can proactively monitor the non-RF metrics, like for example, the time it takes for a mobile device to associate to a Wi-Fi device, right? Radio, authenticate to a Redis server, and then gather an IP address through a DHCP, or like resolve names for DNS service. Now, with the custom alerts and stimulated client testing, this clarity module lets the IT take proactive action against future performance problem. So you can what do you say, address the performance, network performance issues, which are basically reported by the users, right? And the last but not least, before moving on to the installation part, I want to basically talk about one more thing, which is the a way that Aruba Airwave is set up and communicates with the other software and all, right? Basically, we what we do is we will talk about the wireless only, like the Aruba controllers and everything, how it works. I mean, the communication point of it, right? So you say you have the Airwave, you get this in hardware and software both options. So this is your Airwave, okay. Then you have the Aruba controllers, right? So this is your controllers. It can be virtual, and this can be what the on-premise physical, like the 7200 series, right? So it can be that, or the 700 7000 series. It can be those. Now that depends on the company. And with the what do you say, the controllers, you would have access points associated. Let's say this is AP1, this is AP2, like that. You would have lots of APs depending on the size of the organizations. You could have thousands and thousands of APs there, right? Now, how does this work with the Airwave? You will set up like three options you have. You can have SNMP set up here, and you can have the traps, send those to Airwave, or you can have the AMON. So three things, right? And from here, also we'll talk about the instant APs. So you can have the access point, um, right? Instant access point. You can have them as the, what do you say, virtual mobility controller, right? This is an AP which acts as a virtual mobility controller, and under that you can have more APs, right? So this is like AP1, AP2, AP3. So this is another setup which you can do. So from this you can have HTTPS communication between the Airwave and the APs, so to share the the data right across, and the Airwave can use that data to generate reports and generate the dashboard and proactively give you results, right, of how many devices are connected, the performance, and everything. And then the most important part, you can have the reporting. So using the APIs, you can send these through email, or you can have the SNMP set up here and the syslog. Now you will send this to, sorry, syslog. Now you can send this to any NMS software that you're using, and obviously use it accordingly. So that is how the communication would be in an airwave, right? So if that is clear, we will move on to the next part, which is the installation of the airwave, right? I'm going to do this installation. I will show you how to install, how to installation of airwave, and also the initialization, set up the um, what do you say, the management interface with IP and address, and then we'll access the GUI of the array. Okay, so I will use, you can use ISO, I mean so for what do you say, the I mean bigger deployments which are basically in the corporate network, you will use an ISO. Maybe you are using Hyper-V, or you are using ESXi, every, I mean those are KVM, etc. uh, you can use the ISO part. And then for a lab environment, you can use OVA. So I'm going to use OVA, and the requirements are basically you should have a minimum of 32 GB RAM and 8 cores. Okay, you can see say like that. So this is the minimum requirement you should have before installing an OVA. So if you have this, let's move on to the next step, which is the installation. Okay, so first of all, you need to download the Airwave software, which is you can download from the portal asp.arubanetworks.com. Now, in order to access the portal, right, to download the image, you have to go to the networkingsupport.hpe.com, or you can say asp.arubasupport.com. Uh, Now you should see a page like this, and then you have to log in with your credentials. Okay, so this is the page, and sign in with your credentials that you have from your company. You should have a contract or a license, uh, what do you say, portal from the company. And then once you are inside, okay, let me log in with my credentials. Okay, once you are here, you go to the software and down documents section. Okay, then you would have, you go to the Airwave. Basically, you can click on Airwave here, and I would say filter only Airwave with the softwares. I don't need the documents, so I'll say not the documents, my mistake. Okay, I'll go to I mean select the softwares as the filter, and then here you can go and download the version that you need. So for me, I have already downloaded the version you've seen already, right? So this is the AMP 8.3.0.1, so I'll be using this one. So you can download from the, I mean if you're doing enterprise development, go and download the uh, ISO from here, and if you're doing for the lab purpose, download the OVA here. So that's how you download. Now let's go on and move to this. Now you have the OVA installed, I mean downloaded. Now you just need to double click or right click and say open with the VMware workstation, or open the workstation and do the, I mean opposite, right? Go to home and you can say open a virtual machine from here. on the same thing. Now if I go and say airwave like this, double click and it will open up here. It will ask you for the name. I'll say this is my airwave local, any name, right? And then you can browse for the storage path, which is by default in the C drive. You can move it to any other drive you want. So for example, I will move it to D drive. Okay, so all the airwave related what do you say, VM related files are stored here. You can create a new folder. Say this is my airwave VM, like that. So I create a new folder and import everything there. Okay, so now you just grab a T and then wait for this importing to complete. Okay, so let's wait for this. Okay, once this is imported, now the important part is to select the adapter. Now if you want to manage you need your airwave to have internet reachability. Make sure you have kept it as bridged. Okay, and bridge means it will use the Wi-Fi or the LAN network that your computer is already connected to. Now in order to change something on that one, you have to go to the virtual network editor and say change settings. You should see VMnet 0, which is the bridged one. VMnet 0, yeah. Make sure this is bridged to whatever Wi-Fi or wired adapter that you're using. So for me it's a wireless adapter. I'm just checking that one, right? Once you have this, need not do anything else apart from this. Just power on the virtual machine and wait for the VM to initialize all the services, because it will take some time, right? Before it will come up. So let's wait, and I'll forward the video accordingly. So now here it is asking for the login. For the AMP, it is basically, I think, admin and admin. Okay, you can check this from the what do you say, Aruba installation, Airwave installation guide. Okay, you can find that on any just type Airwave installation guide, and you will see the default username. I think this is root login. Let me check root and admin. Yes, this is root and admin. The username is root and the password is admin. But for all the default username password, you can go and uh, uh, just open the installation guide. I'll put a description, the link in the description of this video. Now after this, the first thing you need to do is change the time and zone. So for example, to change that, you just select the number, right? For example, change date and time. I'll select one and enter. It'll ask me to enter the date like this. So for example, today is 3rd of something, right? So I can just mention 3 7, or it's opposite. The month is first, 3 and 2024, and then the time something, right? Say for example 20 and like this. Okay, enter, and it's saying invalid date. Okay, let's try again. So the month comes first, then the day, and then the year, space, then the what do you say, the time, like this. Yeah, that got accepted. I don't know, maybe I did some mistake there. Now second is the time zone. Change the time zone, so you are in Asia, let's say 4, and then any number of that country, let's say India 15, and it'll ask you if this information is correct, say yes, or sorry, not yes, say number, right, number, enter, and then you click on finish. Once you click on finish, it is going to search if there is any existing what do you say, AMP software installed or not. If it is installed, it is the step 2 which basically checks for the installation. If it is there, it will say you want to rewrite the database, or you don't want to, I mean, rewrite and keep the existing one. So you can, depending on your choice, you can say yes or no there. But if you want to install, you will say yes. Okay, so for me there was no existing AMP installation found, so you can see on step 2. And then step 3 is basically installing the AMP. So now this will take some time. Now if you don't want to get bored and you want to see the what do you say, the console and the things happening over there, you can just press Control Alt and F9, so that you can see everything, right, the details over there. And then you can just wait for this to complete. Okay, now it is asking for the creation of the user, which is the recovery user, AMP recovery. If you want to change the username, you can change it here, or otherwise just hit enter. The default username would be AMP recovery, right? And for the admin user also you can change it, otherwise you just hit enter, and the admin user is AMP admin. I'll hit enter. I'll keep as is the default usernames and password. Now it's asking for the admin password, so I'll set up admin password, verify with the same password. Okay, does not match. Okay, maybe I typed it wrong. Okay, so this has been assigned. So once you have the username and password set, it will ask you for the network interface configuration for the E0. I mean, we have only one interface on this, so let's start by configuring IP address on the interface, which is the IPv4 I'll be using. Hit enter 1 for the first option. Now you have to enter the IP address here, right? So mine is 192.168.1.244. Hit enter, and then the subnet mask. This is a /24 subnet, so I'll go and hit enter, and then I have to specify the gateway. For me it's 1-to-1. I will not be using IPv6, so I'll just set up the primary and the secondary DNS. Like that. Once you're done with all this, I mean, number 8 is set as default, which is already there, so I don't need to do. I'll just commit the changes, hit enter 9. Done. And okay, I think something is missing. Okay, so the first, I don't know why it didn't take it. And to set a ban 9 commit. Okay, once that is done, you just hit 9 and then hit 0. You want to restart, it's better to restart. If you don't want, just hit no. I'll just do it one more time. Okay, so you just enter a name here. So I'll just keep as Airwave. I'll say no to generating SSL. Then once you are done with this, uh, the what do you say? The HTTP server, right? Services should be running, and then you can access the web GUI of the Airwave server using the IP that you set. For me, it is 192.168.1.244. So we'll wait for this, and you should see a prompt saying you can access the GUI here. So yeah, to access the AMP web console, browse this, and username is admin, and the password is what you set, right? Okay, so I can hit enter to continue, and like admin is the password, or maybe it's like uh, I think it's AMP admin, right? So once you are logged into the CLI, these are the options that you can use to work on the CLI. Otherwise, the best thing is to go and access it using the GUI, right? So I'll go and use the web console to access this. So after some time, this should be reachable and you should be able to access. I mean, once the web services are in initial initialized, basically. So this is basically using the Apache web server. So I'll just try to ping this IP -t and see if this is live. Yeah, this is live. So after some time, hopefully this should come up, and we can wait for this. Okay, so advanced, and I can go here. Now this is the username. This is the web GUI. So yeah, so there we are able to successfully install it, and we are into the web GUI of the Aruba Airwave. Now you see all the options here. You can create groups of devices like list, right? Add controller groups, AP groups. You can go and change the settings here. You can add a new device here. These are the AMP settings. You can change all the settings, and you can create users. You can create user roles, whatever. And by default, you have seen that this comes with a grace period license of 90 days, while you can manage up to four devices on this as well for the 90 days. I hope you like the overview on the Aruba Airwave and also the installation part. If you want more, just comment in and tell me what you want to know about the Aruba Airwave, and I will surely, plan on building something or recording something on that. So for this video, that would be all. If you like the video content, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. So thanks for watching the video. I will see you in my next lecture. Thank you. Bye bye.